What we're going to talk about today is a book called The Happiness Advantage. Okay, it's one of my most recent reads. It's by Shawn Achor. Anybody ever read this? Okay, I didn't think so. I'll tell you guys how I found out about this book. Naturally, I was waiting for Trey because I think Trey would restroom. But anybody know Kevin Dorsey, KD? Yeah. Right? So he's on LinkedIn. I follow him. I read a lot of his content. I've actually had a one-on-one with him before. I was going to bring up, like, Trey actually has done one of his classes. He actually recommended this book. So I was like, let me check it out. I wanted to see what this book was about. So overall, and shout out to all the book club people, right? We read all these books. So Dana, if you hadn't know, she has this stuff at the book club. We're reading Project Hail Mary. Raise your hand if you're reading Project Hail Mary right now. Yeah, it's like 6 of us, just so you guys know. But it's fine. We like our monthly meetings. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Kevin. And Lex for joining. I think Trisha wanted to join, so she'll be on the next one. But I continuously read all these reads, so I was like, let me read Shawn Achor's Happiness Advantage. One, it's about happiness. I thought I'd be excited. Also, the author is actually from Waco, Texas, so another Texan. So I was like, I want to check this out. So I read this book, and just to give a background about the author, he's out of Texas. He never really left out of Texas, but when he applied for college, one of his dares that somebody gave him was to apply at Harvard. So he applied as a dare, jokingly, didn't think anything. He got accepted. And once he got accepted, he's like super grateful for the opportunity and wanted to go, let me make the best out of all of this. So what he did was go there for his undergrad. So he did 4 years there. He did his graduate studies, and then he became a teacher's assistant. He also did some other proctor stuff. He basically lived on campus and continuously did research for 12 years at Harvard. He felt like there's so many students here. There's such a great opportunity to see the behaviors of all these students, and he really got into the field of psychology. So one of the big things he talks about is positive psychology, and today I'm going to talk about 3 things. A couple other things about positive psychology field. It's a newer field that they did 200,000 different people going through 2,000 studies to get all these concepts of positive psychology. So I'm going to share a little bit about that. So my first topic I'll talk about is just concepts from his book focusing on positive psychology. He actually has 7 principles that he goes through. I'm not going to go through each principle, but if you ever want to know them, hit me up wherever we are after hours or tomorrow, etc., and basically ask me about them. But I'm going to pick on a few of the concepts from several of the principles. I'm also going to talk about the Pygmalion effect. I have a quick video to share with you and share what the Pygmalion effect is, which is from his book. I read through it. I was like, I love that concept. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And then I'm going to go into my personal trend line, which is taking the concepts from this book and how I've applied a lot of this prior to even knowing about this book. So it's like the research and studies really validates the concepts. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because his whole theme is change your lens, change your reality. It's all about mindset. So the first thing I'll share is that, we've all grown up, most of us have heard, hey, you work hard, you see success, and then you're happy. That's the whole concept. Most people, it's like, hey, go, and I know my parents did it. Hey, you got to go to college, get a job, work hard, then you're going to have success, and then you can be happy. Anybody else ever heard that? Work hard, see success, be happy. Well, he used the concept of what back in the day they said the earth was the center of the universe, right? Everything revolved around the earth, and it flipped, and it actually was the sun that we all revolve around. So his whole concept was this actually is the opposite. Happiness leads to success. His concept is you actually work, or you're happy, you work and perform, and then you'll see the success. Richard Branson actually uses this called a fun philosophy. His concept is you focus on joy, you focus on employee experience, you focus on your customer experience, right? Treat people well. I think you guys heard this quote. If you take care of your employees, they'll take care of the customers. So he has the fun philosophy. The whole concept, whether it's fun, whether it's happiness, whether it's positive vibes, or what I like to reference is culture, right? When you have culture, it precedes results. Culture precedes success. Happiness precedes success. So that's why I really wanted to go into this and go through basically some of his concepts, okay? So on positive psychology, the first thing I want to share is he, again, mentions a lot of experiments. I'm going to do one of them that he talks about in the book right now with all of you guys, okay? Just because I'll need a timer, I want to make sure. What I want is everybody, it's going to be really quiet because we're going to do this experiment, is to close your eyes. You don't have to start yet. We're going to close our eyes, and then I'll tell you when to open your eyes. So it's going to be awkward silence. And I love awkward silence, just so y'all know. So we'll go through that and see when I tell you guys to open your eyes, and I'll have some questions. So it's one of the experiments from the book. So I'll time it right now if you guys can close your eyes. All right, you could open him. And just so everybody knows, Callie doesn't know how to close her eyes, so. I was trying to see who else was speaking, but for sure over there. Anybody want to tell me how long passed?
Like 65.
Were you sitting there counting or no? I'm just curious. You were? Were you counting?
No.
Anybody else?
84 seconds.
84? What else? 40?
30.
90 I got. I hear 30, 40. Anybody more than 90? So he does this experiment. I wanted to just test it out. I read it in the book, so I was like, let's see what people say. The concept is a lot of times happiness like actually makes time go faster. So I loved when I heard 30 seconds, et cetera, or whatever. It was actually 70 seconds. So anybody that beat 70 makes me happy because it makes me think that you're happy to hear me speak up here. So that's a good thing. Obviously, whoever said 90 seconds, it's probably like, hurry up, Shohan, we got things to do tonight, right? So he does all these experiments. I just wanted to do that one real quick. But the first concept I wanted to share out of positive psychology is his definition was the joy of striving toward potential. And science actually defines it as experience of positive emotions, specifically pleasure, engagement, and meaning. And then there was a researcher from University of North Carolina that said it's the culmination of 10 specific positive emotions. And I'm going to list them out to y'all. Joy, gratitude, serenity, interest, hope, pride, inspiration, amusement, awe, and love. And again, I'm just sharing this because like one of the concepts I saw that is, it's not just the word happiness, it's what does happiness mean to all of us? And again, I shared with you all, for me, when it comes to work, it's culture, right? If you create a want-to atmosphere and you're happy in there, you have a great culture, you have happiness advantage. The second concept out of this book that I really liked, he shared a story of these nuns at the School Sisters of Notre Dame. Now these are nuns from back in prior to 1918. So when they did this research, they wanted to look back and go, let's look at happiness over a course of time. You really can't tell until you see it over a long, a length of time. So they went to this school and then they took all the journals of like 100 and something nuns and they go, let's look at the journals and see whose journals were positive entries when they were in their 20s and whose journal entries were negative entries, again, in their 20s. And then what they did was like wait till long later and then identify like who actually lived longer. And they saw the people that had happiness entries lived 10 years longer on average than the people that didn't. So his concept here was like happiness actually leads to better health. We just don't see it a lot of times because it takes time to see these research, and we're starting to look at all this research through the happiness or positive psychology. So I just wanted to share that story. Another thing from the book that I want to share is when we're in negative reactions or negative mindset, we're thinking of fight and flight. Well, what they said is when you're in happy mood, you're thinking of build and broaden, or broaden and build. There's actually a chemical advantage when you're happy it actually increases your dopamine and serotonin. And what that does is actually increases your brain power to absorb more knowledge and actually be like smarter. So the idea is like when you're happy, you actually build more as far as learning, as well as also get like smarter, become broad, etc. The concept there is great because we're going to be having the next 2 days. We're really focused on a lot of learning and training. So I'm hoping we leave with much more of a happiness mindset so we could broaden and build. Next concept here was priming the brain. Actually, the leaders that were in a session today that Elizabeth helped organize, she actually talked a lot about priming. Well, there was a lot of experiments about priming the brain. One was they had kids like 4-year-olds that were in preschool or kindergarten, etc., and they had to give them a task. They wanted to prime their brain to see if like happiness will help them do better. So a control group basically did the task, and then the group that they wanted to work with had them basically think about eating Jell-O at lunch. And then what they saw was the group that thought about Jell-O actually built their projects and tasks or whatever faster and better than the other group. Then they went to another experiment where they looked at all these students in high school, and basically they told a control group, hey, you're going to take the standardized math test. They took the other group and said, hey, think about the happiest day of your life. And once they did that, then they said, all right, now we're going to take this test after they primed them, and they saw the scores were better than the other group. So they're just seeing how you could prime the brain. Then they also did an experiment on some doctors. I'm trying to remember how many it was, but there was a bunch of doctors. And the idea was, let's take 3 groups of doctors. One group of doctors will basically get the normal medical information that they would get before they go into a diagnosis. The other group was a control group, so it was nothing said to them. The third group, they actually wanted to prime their brain, so they basically did something to make them happy before the diagnosis. And what they did was, this whole experiment, go and see that the people that were primed and were happy actually had faster diagnosis and more accurate diagnosis. Anybody want to guess what they did for these doctors? They gave them a piece of candy before they went to do their work, but they didn't let them eat the candy because they didn't want it to impact their sugar and glucose, etc. So all it was the act of, hey, giving you some candy, so it just excites you, and then you go do the work, and it actually improved how their work was. I'm sharing all these because these are the things about mindset stuff that could actually impact us. It's like if we're happy, we actually do better work. Next one was this 2.9013, the Losada line. It's a psychologist, Michelle Losada, I think, or something like that, or the name, had said that this number was a ratio. So about 3-to-1 ratio, 3 positive impacts will be equivalent to 1 negative impact, like the ratio that they have. And the point of this Losada line was if you are above this ratio at a work, or if your entire staff is above that, then you're actually going to get 6 times the result. And they actually did this with a lot of different companies. Again, I'm just sharing you guys these stories that really helped me see that these things could actually help us. And then gratitude as a strategy. They said happiness isn't just, it's still work. Like you're not just happy, right? You have to actually do work for it. And one was like showing gratitude creates a strategy of just being happy. My 25-year-old daughter, Des, when she was younger, I actually gave her the 5-minute journal. And she took the 5-minute journal and she had to write every day. I think the questions was like, again, what were you grateful for? You do it in the morning, you do it at night. And she's talking about what she was grateful for, what did she enjoy, etc. It's just a way to like strategize gratitude. Well, now, like when I did that probably when she was in her teens, 7, 8, 9, 10 years later that she's living, like she has a completely different perspective in life. Again, it could have been priming, it could have been all that stuff. She actually had a scary cancerous like surgery not too long ago. But she's like the most optimistic person. If you wanted to follow her on social media, but I'm not going to tell you it because then it'll drive what she's trying to do, which is becoming an influencer. But I'm sharing that. But if you look at it, like she's constantly talking about positivity, the impact she has, how happy she is. And it's like fantastic to see somebody that came through some stuff that she had to do medically and just like is living life to the fullest. But I'm hoping a lot of it was also because we built that in her like a long time ago, which is have a grateful, strategy. So these are just some of the concepts I wanted to share. I'm going to play this video called, it's about the Pygmalion effect. Because again, this was another big research and stuff that they talked about in the book. And I'm showing you guys again all this because I'm going to get to the point where how we can make sure happiness precedes our success as well. But But I'm going to play this real quick. It's about 5 minutes long, but I'm hoping it teaches you guys some stuff.
The Pygmalion effect is the phenomenon whereby higher expectations lead to higher performance. It can be best understood by a circle where our beliefs about another person's abilities influence our actions toward the other person. This action has an impact on the other's beliefs about themselves. The beliefs about themselves cause the other's actions toward us, which again reinforce our beliefs about that person. And so on, and on, and on. Let's look at an example and start with your beliefs. Imagine you are the coach of a basketball team, and you observe your team on the first day. Chris and Joe are new members of your team. Chris reminds you of a famous player. Joe reminds you of an annoying boy from your high school years. Unconsciously, you decide what to expect of each one of them. Your beliefs influence your actions. When Chris enters the court, you are happy to see him. When he plays, you push him to do better, practice harder, stay an extra hour. If he makes a mistake, you explain to him how to improve. When Joe comes in, you hardly notice him. You're glad to see him score, but you don't give him much feedback and don't invest extra time in his training. When Joe does a mistake, you are a little annoyed. Your actions impact their beliefs about themselves. Chris feels you appreciate him, and he appreciates you in return. He believes in his own success. Joe feels you have little patience and appreciation for him. He does not believe in his own success. Their beliefs about themselves causes their actions toward you. Chris finds more and more joy in playing, and he never misses a training session. During the games, he gives 100% all the time. Joe finds less joy in playing than before and doesn't give his full effort in the games. He starts to miss the training sessions sometimes, which reinforces your beliefs about them. You see how Chris enjoys playing, how he trains hard and shows a fast increase in his performance. Joe seems not to be very motivated. His skills don't increase as much, and he starts to show up less. You knew it right away. Thank God your instincts were right. The Pygmalion effect is also known as the Rosenthal experiment, named after a research of Robert Rosenthal at Harvard. In a first study, he challenged test subjects to coach rats through a maze. Half the group were told their rats were extremely intelligent and specifically trained. The other half were told that their rats were dumb. In fact, the rats were all the same. During the experiment, however, the smart rats performed well better than the dumb ones. This showed how the expectations of the coaches influenced even the performance of rats. Rosenthal then did the Pygmalion in school study together with Lenore Jacobson. At the beginning of the school year, a group of elementary school teachers were told that some of their new pupils had extraordinary talent and potential. This information, which was completely made up, was given about random average students in each class. All students had done the IQ test in advance. By the end of the year, the students that were described as more talented had significantly increased their performance in the IQ test compared to the rest of the class. Robert Rosenthal concluded, when we expect certain behaviors of others, we are likely to act in ways that make the expected behavior more likely to occur. What do you think about this theory? And if you believe it, is there a way to prevent ourselves from being shaped by others in a negative way? If you like this video...
All right. So I wanted to share about the Pygmalion effect. Again, it's just the studies and everything in the book. So Pygmalion is actually in Greek mythology. He was disgusted by the women in his town and decided to build actually a statue of a woman. And he thought the beauty was so amazing. He went to Aphrodite and asked Aphrodite to make her come to life. And then he married her. That's the whole Pygmalion effect. That's where it comes up. His belief brought in the potential of that life. Now, you heard about Dr. Rosenthal's study, right? They had 3 students, Sam, Sarah, and Sally. And basically, they were ordinary students, but they told the teachers, hey, these 3 are extraordinary. End of the year, those 3 students are the highest students, but there was nothing different other than the belief of that individual knowing, oh, I thought these students were extraordinary. Helen Hadsell is this lady back in the 50s. that focused on the mind creates reality. She was actually known as the contest queen. So one day she decided to go on, back then I guess it was a slogan contest, and she wrote about like a slogan, she visualized it, she expected to win, etc., and she won this contest. So then she goes, all right, I'm gonna do another contest. And then over like 20 years, the 50s through the 70s, she won, I think, over 100 different contests. No, I'm sorry, 1,000 prizes, including TVs, cash, vacations, etc. And she became the contest queen. In 1969, she wrote a book called the Name It and Claim It game, and she created this concept called spec. And spec was she selected specifically what she wanted. She didn't do stuff that she didn't want. So that was her first thing. Select what you want. Then she did P, spec. It was picture winning it. So she constantly thought about it, visualize it, make sure whatever she wanted, she was actually visualizing. And then E was expect it. So she had this mindset of I'm going to expect this. So whatever I'm putting into place, I want it to happen. And then C at the end was collect it. And what she did was put action to bias. So whatever it was, she actually made sure she did it, because she says the universe rewards people that are actually doing the actual work. So that was what Helen Hadsell did, almost like building in her own Pygmalion effect and believing in winning that stuff. Anybody watch Netflix's famous Last Words with Eric Dane, McSteamy? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Anybody know the McSteamy reference? Okay. So you watched that? Did you watch this series? In that show.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about his last word.
Yeah, that's what. So what did I call it? Famous Last Words.
Video. Yes.
No, I'm talking about the whole documentary. It was like 30 minutes long. Oh, there's actual on Netflix, 20, 30 minutes of it, whatever. But so Eric Dane goes on there and he talks about work shouldn't define us, but it should excite us. And in the book, they talk about when your work is a calling, it changes your mindset. Which is exciting because we all work at a mission-driven company, and it's exciting. I think the other day I shared a picture to Aaron of one of our coworkers, and he was all excited about work, and I was he was selling printers, and I was like, it's not even sound fun. He's selling printers and copiers. It's he's excited about it, but I guess that's cool. That's his calling. But we actually get to do something that's really purposeful. So our work is already a calling if we really put that mindset to it. And then the last thing I'll share is again, having a self-fulfilling prophecy, that whole Pygmalion effect, right? If our expectations are high, then we'll actually achieve what we want to do. So again, I gave you guys this background of the book and the stories, and now I'm going to go into my thoughts as far as when I work with teams, work at companies, build culture that precedes results, because if we have high expectations of culture, performance, flawless execution, etc., our performance and everything will come. So I'm going to show you guys 4 specific experiences. Now, again, I'll share this, like I said earlier, this is not to peacock and strut or anything like that. This is not to go, oh, thank you, Sean, for the pat in the back or whatever. This is not for that. This is to show these concepts actually work. So the first story I'm going to share with you guys, and what I'm going to do is actually play a video in the background. The video is just there for visual imagery of culture, just so you guys know. But I'm going to give you guys the actual story. All right? Make sense? So don't be distracted by that and not hear what I'm saying, is what I'm saying. So back, yeah, it's experiment. Last year at the Go-to-Market Summit, how many people were at the Go-to-Market Summit last year? Right? I talk about my year at Paychex as a sales rep and Zoe getting sick, and again, why calendar management. And some of you guys might have seen that video after, right? If you weren't here, I shared it with a lot of people. So I basically, from that role, got promoted to take on a now leadership role. And when I took on that leadership role, the Paychex has 500 sales teams, 4,000 sales reps, 500 sales teams, right? You guys can see how huge that is. Every division has different teams. So 500 teams split amongst different divisions. I think, Lex knows, AK knows, Chris knows, right? There's payroll, HR service, etc. So there's 50 HR services teams. I took the HR service team that was last place, Northern New Jersey, District 4, number 50, and I took that team. Ricky knows that because he was one of the other Brooklyn teams, and I had the last place team. So we took this last place team, and I basically had inherited all these reps. This team looked at me, and they know I sold 401k, so I didn't even sell their product. So they automatically was like, what's he going to teach us? He doesn't know anything. He's never sold us before. So they were already in a negative mindset. There was no team camaraderie. They looked at me and said, like, we don't have time for this. But I had to make radical change for this group. So 50th place, what they were doing was they were selling a commodity and selling the cheapest product that HR Services has. So again, for those that are paychecks know this, right? HRE, exactly, is the cheapest product there. So let me go to 3 products. PEO, so everybody know what a PEO is? Professional Employer Organization. One of the most expensive products for a small business because it includes health insurance. So now that product is one of the products we could sell, but it's really expensive. We bring in our insurance broker, right? Okay. We would bring in the insurance broker when we needed to sell that. Then there's a product called ASO, which is outsourced HR services. It's basically a HR generalist that would be on site to come and help a business if they bought it. It was a $30,000 to $50,000 product depending on the size of the company. So it was pretty expensive. And then you have HR essentials, which is, hey, we can sell you a handbook because we don't want you to get sued by your employees and you got to be compliant. $3,000. This team, all they sold was HREs. $3,000, $3,000, they could go sell and scare people and sell it. Well, that's why you're number 50, because you don't sell any of the actual product that hits your numbers, etc. So I had to go in there and hire a bunch of great people to come in there. You might actually see one of those guys here. Boris Sheckman was on that team. So I had to hire top talent. We had to build an amazing culture where we wanted to be there and be excited. And we had to have flawless execution. We actually retrained everybody to focus on how do you do top-down selling? We focused on team selling, making sure all of us work together to sell it. Coaching and development, ride days, all kinds of other stuff. One of the things that we did monthly winners dinner. We did a monthly team builder. All the other teams in our office, North New Jersey, every office is different, right? Brooklyn or New York market, Rochester had most office space and stuff, but we had 11 teams there. So when my team was doing a team builder every month, all the other teams were like, why are you guys doing team builder? You didn't hit your number. Because they only did team builders when they hit their number, right? Success, then happiness. I was like, no, we have a team builder regardless. We worked hard, we're celebrating. We had a monthly team builder regardless. And guess what? As we continued to do that and people were shocked, like we started building something special. And the whole concept here is that when we had that high expectation, right? And all the top talent and flawlessly execute, like we actually turned that team around. So 2019 was like a rebuild, or no, sorry, I'm off on years. 2018 rebuild, 2019 we finished number 4 in the US. And that's pretty impressive because I think the top 5 are like the ones that get to go with the CEO, et cetera. And again, all the great people that helped there. But we made a huge, drastic improvement in where that team was. I just want to make sure I hit all the points on there. Oh, one of the things I said there when I was building this team was like, we're doing something that nobody else at the team is doing or all the other teams are doing. Hey, is it going to work or not? And you know, sometimes in the back of my head, there's a little doubt like that. But I had to go like, it doesn't matter. The plan's there. Let's go stick to it. Let's turn it around. So we had an amazing team. Okay. So that's the first experience I wanted to share with you guys. I left Paychex to go to Daily Pay, and I followed my leader from Paychex there. And so I came to Daily Pay, and I was the first sales leader there. There was 8 original sales reps. Now these 8 original sales reps were also kind of a hodgepodge group of people. Yeah, Michelle knows, she's laughing already because she knows which people, none of them work there now or are here, just so you guys know. But they're a hodgepodge group of people. Maureen probably knows them too. But, you know, I joined there, had a lot of work we had to do with Michelle alongside her. When I took it over, first thing was come in there and they're like, what is this guy going to tell us, man? He sold SMB, Living Social, and then Paychex. He didn't sell enterprise. So they automatically are discounting what I'm going to bring to the table. Already negative mindset, etc. So we had a lot of work to do. So one, I had to onboard and learn earned wage access. It's a new industry. All the people had to really learn it in 2019. I mean, these two founded it in 2019. So obviously Daily Pay already been there 4 years of doing it a certain way, had 80 employer partners at that time when I joined in October 2019. Well, I get in there and I knew like, all right, we have to change this. This is not working. Well, 6 months into it, March 13th, 2020, pandemic, got sent home. So now that team and all of us, not only do I not get to work with them in the office, we're all home, we're all working remote in a world where we didn't know how to work remote. We had no clue what to do first with the remote. Employers were like, didn't want to talk to us, right? They're dealing with the pandemic, just like we are. So like, we're like trying to figure it out. And not only that, what we were doing to actually sell deals was not working. I remember, and then Michelle can attest to this, I remember the first pitch and stuff like that. It's like, let's go and tell them everything about earned wage access and try to sell them. And we had this slide deck and this and that. And I was like, we're going to have to change discovery completely. We're going to have to rebuild this. This is not how you sell this product. And yes, I didn't have all the credibility of like selling in the enterprise. I read MedPick. I had the competencies to be able to do enterprise. And honestly, I just took what we did at Paychex, which is value selling, and applied it to what we do and do effective discovery, top-down selling, all that stuff. So that was one thing that we had to do. I was worried because if it didn't work, Jason Lee was going to be pissed, and you don't want to get him pissed. Okay? So like, took a risk there. Along with that, we had to change the sales methodology. HubSpot had, we rolled out Salesforce eventually, but initially they had 13 stages when I joined. I was like, why would we have 13 stages that we have to move deals through? So it was crazy. Well, either way, pandemic's finished. We're like, well, it's not really finished, but whatever. At the end of 2020, I'm like, all right, I need to now really take this into consideration. And I had to build a team. First hire, Trisha Shea. I think you guys saw that. Second hire, Aaron Martin. Third hire, Chris Rivero. Then we have fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Built this team of high performance, focused on effective discovery, focused on culture, as you can see. And I don't know what y'all see. We had team selling mentality, effective discovery, value selling, like trusted advisor, preparation, everything we need to do. And just one other thing I'll say on that is our team, which was the enterprise team, 2 to 50,000 employees, was different than the other teams. SME, which we call it small to mid enterprise, those individuals were focused on 2,000 and less. They were basically bringing as much market share as they can. As small deals, get them on, it doesn't matter. It's just now we have logos, a lot of them, right? Market share. The strategic team, 50,000 and up, was focused on big brands, Dollar Tree, Target, HCA, it doesn't matter. They get all these people because those names helped us win. 2 to 50,000 that we were closing is the revenue drivers for the company. So if our team didn't win after us putting in all this in place, the company wasn't going to generate revenue and get to where it needed to get. I hope it wasn't going to distract, but I think it is, just so you guys know.
Trisha is a fantastic name. It's fantastic.
At the end of 2021, our team, Team Bamba, did 340,000 employees and $29 million in ARR just by ourselves. There's other teams there too, but just by ourselves. That was because we focused on our culture of our team, top talent, flawlessly executing all the things we're constantly talking about. All right, so 2022, I left Daily Pay after we had new CEO, new CRO, all kinds of changes happening. It was about 3 months in. Probably pissed all these guys off because I left and they're like, can't believe you just left us like that. But I left because my friend was the head of sales at Square. And I had some, the new leaders were whatever. They also know I had some issues with my boss that I did follow, but maybe I outgrew him, et cetera, and dealt with some stuff. So I was like, I can't work for him anymore, so I have to leave. So I get another story for after hours if y'all want to hear. I went to Square, but this was unique. I went to Square, but Square had just acquired Afterpay. So the role that at that time, now my new boss, who actually Nebby knows because he worked at Square as well, Tom Hanrahan, he wanted me to oversee the Afterpay SMB team. So they acquired Afterpay for $29 billion. If you guys didn't know, Block acquired it. Afterpay, you guys know what it is, right? Buy now, pay later, right? B2B2C, actually the same kind of concept as us, right? You sell an employer, then the customer is what drives the revenue, et cetera. So I take over that team, and now I have a global team in 4 different regions. Well, I have ANZ, Australia, New Zealand. I have North America, Canada and US. I have the UK, which is standalone. And then I had EU, a bunch of European countries. 4 different directors with all these reps on there. I come in there. Some of these teams are really, they're performing, but they're performing in a weird way, focusing on just inbound volume because it's like, a lot of people sign up I want Afterpay now. And then if you ever see a lot of companies like Nike or whoever that have Afterpay, they have Afterpay, Klarna, Affirm. So it's kind of easy to sell it to a point because if somebody comes in inbound, you just sign them up, etc. So I had all these teams there that, were looking at me crazy when I'm like, all right, we're going to have to do some radical change to create more revenue because Square didn't buy Afterpay just so they could keep doing exactly what they did. And then 2, this group of people worked completely different than the enterprise side of Afterpay and the Square business. The reason the CEO of Square at that time put Afterpay SMB under Square was because Square SMB is just a huge machine, SMB machine, okay? They do thousands and thousands and thousands of companies like a month when it comes to closed ones and stuff. Well, they asked me to take care of that. So I had to like learn Square and learn Afterpay at the same time. And then I had to merge Afterpay into the Square org. And at the same time, I had Nick Molnar. You guys know who that is? Australian billionaire, first billionaire in Australia. He's the founder of Afterpay. So the enterprise team reports to him, but I just took half of his business and oversee it. So probably pissed him off because I'm coming in there and I'm changing stuff. We said, you know what, guys? We shouldn't focus on inbounds. We could actually automate all our inbounds. What we need to do is actually drive upmarket business, focus on outbound, go after premium accounts, that's what they called it, and we should be exclusive. Why are we selling to a company and they could be with all of these different buy now, pay laters? Let's get exclusive. They laughed at me. They said that's never gonna happen. The Australia team especially, because that's where Afterpay was founded. Well, I had to go around every region. So I was in Melbourne, I was in Sydney, I was in UK, I was in everywhere, just basically meeting all of them and teaching them how to be a trusted advisor. Talk to these people, build value, have effective discovery, build value, negotiate better, and get exclusive contracts. We're not gonna just sit here and let everybody sign up for it. It's not driving revenue for the company. Well, I do that, I fix their comp plan, I change it, etc., and I tell them what we're gonna do. January 1st comes around. I'll be honest with you, like I went to my RevOps person there and I was like, I'm a little worried if this is gonna work because I don't know if it's gonna work. Like this is completely different, right? It's like I'm taking something that was working for them and I'm gonna change it and go completely different, change the comp plan, stuff like that. So there was a little doubt at times, but stuck with the plan, focused on culture, as you guys can see here, focused on bringing to, having the top talent there and making sure we deliver results. Well, 6 months went by and we had a meeting with billionaires in the room, right? And when I say billionaires, I'm talking about Nick Molnar, Jack Dorsey, Jim McKelvey, plus probably a bunch of multimillionaires. I don't know about them, but I know those three are billionaires. Those are the founders of Square and the founders of Afterpay. So we go in this, in this meeting 6 months into what I rolled out, and we decreased close the time. We increased how many premium business we were going after. So more upmarket deals, closed one. We actually had way more outbound deals, meaning self-gen, et cetera. And we sold the most exclusive contracts that has ever been sold. They were actually shocked that we're getting exclusive contracts. And we do that, and they were like shocked because we actually were doing more business than the enterprise teams. So they were really shocked. Now, that was all good and dandy. I was excited. The team was excited. Well, at the end, not at the end of the year, but like September, October, before the year ended, there was a massive reorg. So the CEO of Square left, Jack Dorsey takes over. The Afterpay team is moved to Cash App and Block reorged where it's Square and Cash App. So then they go, all right, Sean, like we don't want you to go to the Cash App side. We want you to stay at the Square side. But now that your entire team is moving over to Cash App, let's have you build something different. We like what you're doing. You've proven us some stuff. We need you to help us with partnerships. And here's why. Square had 700 partners. Now, out of these 700 partners, they were getting 1% of the leads from their partnership team. So all these partners are there, ecosystem, et cetera, no leads coming out. They were all going to Toast, Square's competitor. So they go, you got a headcount of 5, build channel sales for us. I was like, all right. Well, I got a headcount of 5. I had 4 internal people that I picked out of all the people that I knew. And Trisha Shea, I brought her over there because I was like, I know what she could do. So I brought her there. The 5 of us started working with 20 portfolios each to go after partners to generate opportunities. We focused on becoming the partner of choice. We did bi-directional referrals, coordinate co-selling, and we focused on providing white glove service. We're like, if we do these things, partners will work with us instead of other people. Trisha and I actually built out this methodology, and part of it was it's what we did at DailyPay with ADP, so why don't we just replicate what we did, and we could do that here. So we do this here in 3 months into it, or before we get it, Trisha gets hired, we put this plan in place. I literally said this to her, I was like, I hope this shit works. Same thing. Every time I'm taking on this, like, I hope it works. I haven't done this before. We're making something up. It's a whole new program, methodology, headcount, comp plan, whole plan. And we put this together 3 months into it, just with the results we already got, plus signing like US Foods, Cisco, T-Mobile, all these things we were doing on the partnership front. They doubled my headcount and actually gave me the enterprise org and another strategic initiative org, which actually 2 of the members are right there, Ben and Tanya, as a part of that org. So like now it increased responsibility, but the idea was it's working. And through that year, we not only brought in like the most partner opportunities ever. I'm talking about thousands and thousands. And they look at GPV. So it was like, I think it was $4 billion in GPV pipeline. And then our enterprise team finishing over 125%. We just completely crushed it. But the same thing applied, which is focus on culture, focus on top talent, and focus on executing flawlessly the process. And when we did this, we continuously saw the success. Now, again, I'm sharing this not because I'm trying to brag about these things. I want you guys to understand that it's that positive outlook. It's that high expectation. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy because culture preceded the results. Happiness preceded success. I'm going to just keep going for time purposes, but I'm going to show you those 4 personal trend lines again, right? Paychecks, right? Be awesome today. That's literally, and I was in the cube, but had an office also for like one-on-ones. It's literally on the back of there. Be awesome today. We focused on those 3 things that I shared with you, had a lot of success. Number 4 team in the nation, right? Daily pay. Again, a lot of people you could ask, how was that success? How was that? Was it because we hit the numbers and then we had all that fun? Not at all, right? Aaron's first day was playing golf right there on that thing. And he's probably like, what the hell did I just join? My first day at work and we're playing at a golf range, etc. But we had the success. At Afterpay, again, that 6-month meeting, businesses looking for value, sharing it with all the billionaires that we see the success, but it's because we focused on the culture side of it. And then at Square, even when Trisha, channel sales, President's Club winner, but just crushed it, this is what helps us like continuously become better here. But now we could do this at Rain. The playbook is all there. I don't have to doubt it. Last year when I started here and helped the PCS team, I put all that stuff together. Like there was not a single doubt what was going to happen. You could ask these senior leaders that come into meetings like, when are these leads going to come? When are they gonna come? Just wait, watch. It's coming because culture precedes it. The talent's coming. All that stuff's coming. So I wanted to show you guys this because my stats teacher in college said one data point is an instance. 2 data points could be a coincidence, whatever. 3 data points, now there's a momentum swing. It's basically going to tell you if you're trending in the right direction or not based on those 3 data points. 4th one confirms a trend. So what I'm sharing with you all is all that guessing and doubting, we don't need that here at Rain. We know exactly what we're doing. The formula is the same. You look around here, look at all the talent that we have, showed you all the new individuals. We focus on talent. Rodolph mentioned it. We're focusing on an amazing culture. And we now have all the systems in place. We're focusing on executing flawlessly so we can win. And the idea is let's make sure we're staying positive. Let's make sure we're choosing happiness when we go into our work tomorrow, day after tomorrow, when you leave next week or whatever you're working, choosing happiness. I do that every day. Whether it's in my personal life with Zoe, who is sick, and then now still has seizures, and I work with her on her homework, and she gets frustrated, etc. Or in my, with my wife, where we joke and say every 10 years we got to repropose, and we still have our ups and downs that we deal with when it comes to like our daughters and all the stuff we deal with in life. But I choose happiness. Or even when I add family members to our house and new little foster kids, and Ethan, who literally today, we got an email that he bites one more child, he's actually kicked out of the daycare. I'm still gonna choose happiness, and we'll just find another happiness. But like, that's what we're happening, you know? Yeah. Yeah, he's getting expelled, but that's fine. Choose happiness. But with that being said, if we all choose happiness, we all focus on a positive mindset, and we focus on our culture, the results will come. And I'm excited about this year, and you'll hear more stuff tomorrow and throughout the next couple days. But Rain is about to go to the next level, and that little chart, little happy face trend, we're going to be the next one up there on that 5th one, and we're going to crush it. So that's all I have. Enjoy your time. Hopefully it was good stuff.